Colombia. The South American country had a very bad reputation because of its violent past, drug cartels, where kidnappings and homicides happen on a daily basis. But those days are pretty much gone, and Colombia has become one of the most beautiful and fascinating countries in all of Latin America. In 2020, I briefly visited Bogota for a few days, but I knew I have to explore this country properly one day. So this year, I finally came back, and after visiting Venezuela, which you can watch in the previous videos, I arrived to Colombia and spent 2 incredible weeks in the country. Come and join me on this adventure, visiting deserts, mountains, cities, as well as the Amazon jungle. So without further ado, welcome to Colombia. Our Colombian adventure was divided into 5 different chapters, the first one being a region called Huila. From Bogota, we took a flight to a city of Neiva, picked up a rental car and drove all the way to a beautiful place called Tatacoa Desert. This place is not really that famous. It's actually quite off the beaten track, sometimes called as Colombia's best kept secret. And there are different parts of Tatacoa Desert. This one we're in right now is probably the most iconic. It's called Red Desert or Cusco, and it's iconic because of these red matte formations. And if you come here during sunrise, like we did right now, it's one thing that is not so hot. Still, it's like 35 degrees now, and the colors on the mud formations are starting to really glow and it becomes super orange. And we are in a different part of Tatacoa Desert called Los Hoyos or Grey Desert, also known as the Desert of the Ghost. And you know why? Listen. You see, there's absolutely nothing. Complete silence. It's incredible. I feel like I'm somewhere on the moon. And this Grey Desert is about 30 minutes from the Red Desert part of Tatacoa. And the best time to come here is right before sunset, as we just did, because then you can see incredible colors on all of these mud formations, and it's just incredible. Tatacoa was incredible, but we still had some time left in the region of Huila. The problem was we didn't have any plan on where to go next. So quite spontaneously, we picked a random town in the mountains and were already on our way, excited what life will bring to us. Welcome to a small town of Santa Maria, located in Colombian mountains, and This was a very spontaneous decision to come here because just in the morning we looked at a map because we didn't know what to do. We already have seen quite a lot of Tatacoa Desert, so we wondered what's next, and we found this small town because it was right next to the mountain, so we decided why not to come here. And now we will see what exactly can this town and this area offer us. We found this absolutely hidden gem for staying overnight in Santa Maria. Let me show you. After searching some place where we can stay overnight here in this area in Santa Maria town, I found on Google Maps this completely a random place. It had like no reviews, nothing. We went like all the way to the mountains, like 10 minutes. It was a very, very bad road, and we ended up here, and it's like blew my mind. There's such an incredible view, and nobody could believe us that how in the world we got here. Our new friend Edward, manager of the accommodation, took us to a local waterfall, Cascada Golondrina. It was a 10-minute walk through the jungle with one gate in our way, but nothing that could stop us. And this is it, Cascada de Golondrina. After waterfall, Edward took us to his family home, located on a hill with an incredible view, and for the first time in my life, I made a fresh sugarcane juice. Not gonna lie, it wasn't as easy as it seemed, but after 15 minutes, we had one of the best things I've ever tasted. Cheers with a sugarcane juice. Very tasty. Very refreshing. And the evening ended with an amateur table tennis match. Maybe you don't know this about me, but I'm a huge coffee lover, and Colombia being one of the biggest global exporters, I just couldn't say no to visiting a local coffee plantation. We met up with the owner, Mr. Beto, an incredibly enthusiastic man, and not even a serious accident many years ago, which unfortunately left him on a wheelchair, could stop him from following his biggest passion. Mr. Beto showed us all stages of the coffee production. First the young plants, then the actual coffee fields. And everywhere on the hills, there's just coffee and coffee. See, everywhere. The fields are really located just about everywhere on the steep hills all around. And now we're in the coffee fields themselves. Basically, even though there are these very steep hills and mountains, they planted everywhere. From the coffee fields, Beto showed us an incredible machine, more than 50 years old, used to peeling the coffee shells and getting the coffee bean itself. This is the moment when you have the green coffee bean. Back inside, we could once again see all the different stages of the coffee. And best for last, I had the opportunity to prepare my own filter coffee, and gosh, it was so delicious. Salud! We prepared the best Colombian coffee. Cheers! Okay, muchas gracias, Beto. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Well, this was absolutely incredible. Man, I just love Colombia. Well, who would have thought that we would experience so many things in this hidden town in the mountains called Santa Maria? Sometimes spontaneous decisions are simply the best way to go. Okay, bye-bye Eduardo. It was so nice to meet you.
Okay.
Hopefully see you again.
When I go to Republic Czech.
Yeah, when you go to Republic Czech, call me and I will show you the best of Republika Czeka.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye, adios. first chapter of the Colombian trip was over. The next day, we hopped on a plane, and our goal was to visit Los Nevados National Park, inside which a 5,300-meter stratovolcano Nevado de la Ruiz is located. It's a completely different environment and nature than the rest of Colombia. The road leading there was a no easy task, as there were no signs, nothing, and we were just hoping that we would arrive to our destination. Everything seemed to be going well. We were getting closer and closer, already to an altitude of almost 4,000 meters, but we didn't know that soon our journey would take a completely different turn, literally. After the rain, we just slipped with the car and got to a quite bad situation.
Well, now the only option is to walk like 1 and 2 kilometers and hope that somewhere there will be some, at least civilization, or not civilization, but some people. So this is now I cannot even think in this altitude. It's 3,800 meters now above sea level. We found that there are 2 people inside, but unfortunately they have absolutely no car, they speak no English. We are now hoping that they are figuring out if by any chance somebody with some jeep will come tomorrow morning, and then they could help us, but nothing is sure, and we'll just see what will happen.
We went out to enjoy the incredible landscapes around and watching the monumental Nevado de la Ruiz volcano. This is the situation now. Our car is 2.5 kilometers down. We're at the 4,000 meters above sea level. In this room, at least something. I am backing up the footage right now. And outside there's 0 degrees. And inside there, guys, is also 0 degrees. Because there's absolutely no heating. So the only thing we have to keep us warm are these blankets. And then tomorrow, hopefully, we're gonna get rescued somehow. The next day, our rescue mission continued. By a coincidence, there was a small jeep going around. We stopped him, and with the help of a rope, he in the end managed to pull us out. Happy ending, right? Well, to not make it so easy, as we thanked the driver, our car with the keys inside the ignition just decided to lock itself. So, the adventure continued. We tried to open it with a piece of wire, and after 15 minutes of unsuccessful attempts, we were already prepared to just throw a rock inside. On the last try, the lock clicked and we could get inside our car. In the end, everything turned out great, but you just cannot think this up. As we spent here a bit longer than expected, we slowly continued through the national park, already inside our car. But what a place, and what an experience. In a few hours, we said our last goodbye to the volcano and the park, and our adventure continued. The next day, we hopped on a plane once again, this time visiting the city of Medellin.
Welcome from Medellin, Colombia's second biggest city after Bogota. And in fact, just a few decades ago, during the times of Pablo Escobar, Medellin cartel, it used to be the most dangerous city not only in Colombia, but one of the most dangerous in the whole world. And we are now in the part that was the most dangerous of them all, called Comuna 13. It used to be the home of Pablo Escobar. And now we're gonna take a walk here and to see how it changed. from Comuna 13 to the city center of Medellin, specifically to a place called Plaza Botero, which is the square named after Colombian artist Fernando Botero, and it's famous because of these sculptures which you can see behind me, made by him. And welcome to probably the most touristic place in all of Colombia, or at least definitely around Medellin, and it's called Guatapé, which is this city located on some kind of series of lakes. And the most famous thing is right this behind me, which is kind of this special rock formation called La Piedra, and you can climb all the way to the top by the stairs which are located on the side. And after a little over 650 steps, we're at the top of La Piedra. And to be honest, the view from here is quite nice, but the amount of people that are here, like, it's nice to visit here, nice experience, nice view, but to be honest, I don't know if it's worth it.
Guatapé was our last destination in this region, before we headed to the complete south of Colombia, to Leticia, from where we would venture inside the Amazon jungle and explore it for 3 days, including seeing the Amazon River itself.
Welcome from Leticia, the capital of Colombian state of Amazonas, located on the southern part of Colombia, right next to the border between Brazil and Peru. And this is the gateway to Colombian Amazon jungle. From here we will venture for 3 days deep inside Amazon jungle, and it will be my absolutely first time to see the Amazon River. So I'm super excited, and let's go and explore this completely different part of Colombia together. We are now in the main market of Leticia, and here you can find many fruits, vegetables, and a lot of fish, because all the fish that comes from the Amazon River, there's a lot of it, is basically the supermarket of Leticia.
We first went about 60 kilometers by boat on the Amazon River. When I saw it for the first time, it shocked me how incredibly wide it is. Here, it's about 3 kilometers from one side to the other. But imagine that in Brazil, the widest part of the Amazon River has 80 kilometers. Just insane. After a little over an hour, we arrived to the first spot, from where we would directly enter the jungle. I have never seen so many monkeys in the wild as here. Soon after we got out of the jungle, a heavy rain started, but we still had about 20 kilometers to go, so there was no other option but to get completely wet on the small boat. And after 40 minutes, we arrived to our base for the following 2 days. Puerto Nariño, a small settlement without any cars in the middle of the jungle. From here, we would start all of our further adventures.
And we are already deep inside the Amazon jungle. And because it's now wet season, it's been raining quite a lot for multiple hours today. We got completely wet, and now there's a lot of mud, and we're walking through the jungle. But unfortunately, my rubber boots, one of them has a hole inside, so one of my boots is completely full of the mud. So hopefully there are no leeches and different things. And the sounds of the jungle are incredible as always. So here we have a tarantula. And good morning from a small settlement of Puerto Nariño right next to the Amazon River. Today we are heading off even more deep inside the Amazon jungle as we will be staying tonight in an indigenous Indian community. So, and on the way we will try to look for some Amazon River dolphins and many other animals. So let's begin this second absolutely incredible day. And if you're ever lost in the jungle, you have this natural jungle cell phone. Because of the enormous size of the roots, when you hit it with the stick with some other wood, it makes incredible resonance. So everybody can hear you in a quite big area because this is very, very loud. Welcome to the Amazon jungle! Now we're entering the flooded jungle part, where there's too much water to walk, so we're gonna go on this boat through this. And today there are no clouds, no rain, and there's a beautiful sunset happening right now. So we're hopping on a small boat and we're going to catch the sunset on the lake. So the sun is already down. We are in the middle of the lake, and there, about 50 meters from us, a group of dolphins appear. Those are special ray and pink dolphins that are living inside the Amazon. Oh, there's one. So let's hope that we'll be able to see a few more of them.
That evening, I already couldn't capture any of the dolphins. Here's at least the footage we have managed to capture the following morning. As we had our last day in the Amazon in front of us, we headed back to the jungle for the final time, but this time heading really, really deep.
even the jungle itself has many different parts. And before we were in a part where it wasn't so dense, but right now we are in probably the most dense jungle we've been so far here in Colombia, in the Amazon jungle. Now there is one local indigenous man who has to cut the way through with a machete, and it's no longer that fun to just walk here. It's quite difficult, and also the amount of mosquitoes that are here is a record amount. That's why I'm wearing this net on my head, because without this it's no longer possible to just walk here. Already my hands are swollen after so many different bites by the bugs and mosquitoes. Well, this is life in the Amazon jungle. Well, and after hiking for more than 2 hours in this part of the Amazon jungle, I can tell you that the humidity here and the temperature is so bad here that I feel as if I took a shower. I'm completely drenched in sweat, completely wet. The shirt, the trousers, everything. My head is completely wet. And man, it's incredible to walk through this part of the jungle and to imagine that just the Amazon jungle has an area of more than 5 million square kilometers. Everything just like this. You walk and walk for ages and you see nothing more than these trees and this weather.
Being out of the jungle, we jumped back on the boat and said our last goodbye to the Amazon. Being in the jungle is an absolutely incredible experience, but to be honest, I was already quite looking forward to a less humid weather. Let's see when I will have the opportunity to come back.
Boom! And just like that, welcome to Cartagena. We just moved from the complete south of Colombia, Leticia, all the way to the north, Cartagena. This is basically our last stop of this Colombian trip. After 16 days, we are saying goodbye to Colombia, to this absolutely incredible country. So let's use this last day here in South America to explore the beautiful city of Cartagena.
And before we knew it, even the last chapter of our Colombian trip was over. And with that, we said goodbye to this stunning country in South America. I'm super happy that I got the opportunity to go back to Colombia for my second time and finally explore it properly. There are so many hidden gems here, and I'm sure this wasn't my last visit. I hope you enjoyed this video exploring different parts of Colombia. And if you haven't seen the previous videos from Venezuela, I highly recommend to check them out. South American trip is over, but I'm gonna see you soon from a completely different part of the world. Goodbye, South America. Until next time.